Go.
Greetings from Ecuador. This is Barbara Snow and Danae Shanti, who is in the beautiful mountains of Colorado. And we're here to talk about the 31-day Good Vibration Challenge, which is intended to help us all get happier, lighter, freer, and clearer as part of our individual ascension processes. Good morning, Danae.
Good morning. Are we doing Sharra or Barbara today?
Let's do Sharra.
Okay.
Everyone, Sharra is my soul name, and it is another piece of me besides my author name, Barbara Snow, but it's a different vibration, and it evokes my soul much more strongly to me. So I like being called Sharra.
And since we've been close friends for so long, I'm acclimated to calling you Sharra, so that's good to know.
It is good. And I think that we should tell everyone that we met on December 21st of 2012 at the Mayan Millennium Masquerade Ball in Boulder, Colorado, the day before the world ended. And it has been a blessed relationship, fun and growth, and helping each other ever since.
Well, and we help each other a lot between your skill sets and mine. We really help each other navigate when we're feeling stuck in our own process, you know, or evolving. We've turned to each other for years, and I feel like having an ally to turn to whose skill sets are up there with yours, so to speak, is really important. That we need someone like that in our lives, you know?
Exactly. And that's one of the things we want to offer to the people who are participating in this challenge. There's so many times when I have felt stuck or was facing something really huge. For example, when I was about to move to Ecuador and I had a beautiful horse and a dog and 2 cats. Today, let's tell that story. I had come back from Ecuador from a 9-week tour to make sure I felt like I could really do it. And we were sitting in my beautiful little cabin on the ranch talking especially about my horse Kai. Yeah. Do you remember what you did?
I do. I remember, well, first of all, I have such an affinity for animals and large attachments. So I remember that my heart was hurting imagining you letting go of all your spirit animals, you know, your companions. And I asked Kai what Kai would like, what he wanted. And he very clearly told me in my mind that he wanted to do equine gestalt work and to help people heal, and to ask you to put out a word into that community to open the possibility for someone to adopt him so he could do his work. That's exactly what he said. And that's exactly
what happened. We did put that message out into the community, and he is now the lead therapy horse at Begin Again Ranch. And I can feel how happy he is. Now, I miss him desperately, but this was an example of how we helped each other, because if I had not had good homes for all of my beloved animals, there's no way I would have left Colorado.
Yeah.
So that's an example. Why don't we talk a bit about the energies that we're both feeling today?
Okay. And how we've shifted them several times. So every day I've been waking up really energized and on fire and ready to roll. And the last 2 days since Mercury went retrograde, I've been waking up like feeling like an elephant and really sluggish, and my mind foggy and my body dense. And when I woke up this morning, I had that same feeling like I'm walking through jello. And so, you know, wanting to offer the best that I can in our sharing here today, I kept saying to Spirit, how do I get out of this sludge feeling? And then when we first connected, lo and behold, there you were.
And I was feeling exactly the same way. So this also shows everyone that a lot of times it's planetary energies, not just personal energies. So don't assume when you have a day where you feel like you're being buried in sand up to your neck that there's something wrong with you, because this is part of the ascension process. As we clear out this old heavy stuff, we have to feel it. And we just did a meditation together to clear this energy. We opened our crown chakras. We invited light to come in. We did some toning. And I do feel that it has washed me to a large degree. I still feel kind of draggy compared to most days, but we're not letting us stop us.
Right, that's right, yeah. So using sound, so Spirit Muse is pretty much the name that I'm going by these days in terms of my business. And using sound is a pivotal part of shifting energy. I led a breath workshop yesterday, and in breathing workshops, a lot of that, what you call hucha, comes up and needs to be cleared out. And the beauty of breath is that it does the clearing by itself without having to mentally process it. But sometimes the body gets really tense in the passing of the energy. And so a couple of my participants had their hands locked up really strong and tight like this and contracting. And I had them start to tone. And this is a wonderful tool for everybody. If you have a voice and you can make sound, that's one of your power tools. So I had them toning the sound of what the discomfort felt like. And this is an awesome tool that we can all use. And this is what you and I did earlier, is to be open to what you're experiencing and find your voice in the vibration of the experience. So let's say I had a cramp in my solar plexus. I would start to tone and sound until I could feel my voice vibrating that part of my body. And then I would just stay there toning until I felt my solar plexus clear. And this is a wonderful tool for anyone to use for any reason at any time. If they're feeling stuck, agitated, confused, it just kind of creates a laser and wakes up the crystalline energy inside our bodies and helps us to snap and align to spirit.
Pay attention, everybody, because these are the tools we're talking about that help all of us raise our vibration whenever we feel even the slightest bit off. So toning, breathing, opening your crown, bringing in divine light. These are some of the things that we work with on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Danae, you're a channel, and you're a singer and a singing coach, and you do breath work. I mean, the breadth of your skills is pretty impressive. Can you tell me a little bit about what your projects are that you're working on right now?
Wow. I think in order to do that, it's probably good for me to backtrack a little and talk about how I ended up like this, because I didn't start this way. So my story quickly is I was in an unhealthy marriage, married to an alcoholic. I was the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce, so I was in the mainstream world as executive position, and I was miserable and depressed. And I would walk around the streets at night on Long Island, sobbing, and interestingly, looking up at the stars, which at that time I didn't understand what I was doing. Sobbing, longing for home, didn't feel like this was home, and wanted to go home. And this went on for probably a good year. And I didn't believe in psychic things or metaphysical things or any of that stuff. I thought it was all woo-woo.
Woo-woo, woo-woo, yeah.
Those funny psychic people. And I ended up going through an awakening of sensitivities at the harmonic convergence. And so in one moment I was pretending to meditate with a group of people because I didn't even know how to meditate. I just didn't want to look like an oddball. So I sat there at the ocean, it was dawn, and pretended I was meditating along with everyone else. And supposedly there were celestial energies being made available to our human bodies that would, if you will, stir the stardust that we're actually made of and help it to wake up. And I didn't believe in any of that. Anyway, at the end of the meditation, we all jumped in the ocean screaming, "Yay for love and light on planet Earth." And I felt happier. I was happier that other people cared about Mama Earth like I did. But what was different was I was hearing celestial music in my brain, like literally angelic choirs in my head. And I was seeing, instead of seeing the blue sky, I was seeing golden white archangels bedecking the sky, like there were archangels and blue sky behind them. And
Wow.
when I looked back on the sand and I saw people, I saw their auric fields. And you have to remember, I had no language for any of this stuff. So in my case, it was a spontaneous awakening. That doesn't always happen with people. Sometimes we wake up in increments and our capacities come online. So I
That's
currently function with clairvoyance, clairaudience, and clairsentience. So I see, hear, and feel interdimensionally. So the work that I do today is to help people quicken, to speed up their spiritual development by taking them through channeling directly into their connection with spirit so they can feel it for themselves. That's one. Second part of what I do with people is I call it do-it-yourself mentoring. So I mentor and train people so that they become fully awake in their own capacities, their own capacity to listen to spirit, to talk to and listen and receive direct guidance for what they need every day, every moment, no matter what the topic is in their lives, so they become self-empowered, do it yourself. And
Yeah.
the third piece around that is clarity. A lot of times we have trouble getting out of our own way to see what's going on with us. So I train people to be able to go, if you will, metaphorically up into their soul star energy and look back down. It's like an eagle's point of view into their being, their personality, their emotions, their minds, their physiology, and to see through the eyes of spirit or their higher self into their construct. And people, to me, when I do that, look like motherboards. I could see their wiring. I could see where the soul substance is. I could see where the personality is and where they're aligned or they're not, where they're leaking, where they're missing the boat altogether. And so I have been there many times. So I train people to do that for themselves, because my bottom line is I don't want you dependent on me. You need to know that you're capable and empowered to your own self. I don't want to see you more than 10 times. Like, let me train you thoroughly and get on with your life and use your power tools. You know, when it's the middle of the night, a lot of folks have challenges sleeping, especially as the energies are shifting. It's 3 a.m. and you're alone in your bedroom and it's dark and you're not sleeping and you're anxious. Wouldn't it be amazing to be able to turn to your guidance and say, what do I need to be doing? I'm awake. What's the best use of my time and energy? Or can you help organize my nervous system and put me to sleep? And to know that we're not alone in the truest sense.
Right.
I think that's such a high value, you know?
It's incredibly important right now because all of us are being stripped of ego. Everything that we thought we knew is turning out to not be true. Mm-hmm. We're finding many ways in which everybody on the planet has been lied to. So how do we know what to trust? And I agree totally about empowering people to do it themselves. This is the thrust of my work as well. In fact, I rarely even go 10 sessions with somebody in a in a healing session context, because I don't want them to get dependent on me either. I've kicked people out if they weren't doing their work. Because it's so important that everybody remember that they're a divine being. You're an aspect of source. You have all this inside you. What we want to do is to help you know you're not alone. You're doing it right, even if you're doing it differently than someone else. Mm-hmm. What we offer is a smorgasbord, and you can choose the things that work best for you.
Yeah. And within that smorgasbord is, what comes to me right now is like a thumbprint or a snowflake. Every single one is individual and unique and not repeatable. So what you and I are doing is escorting people into that unique individual signature of that which they are, and finding how to find themselves trustworthy and trust their guidance and navigate by that. because comparison is the worst thing any of us can do, is comparing ourselves
Right.
to other people and what it looks like for them. You know, we're an individual expression of the divine, and that individuality has directives that are unique unto it, and we are that it, and it's our job to tune in and find out what that means for us.
And when you find that sweet spot where you know that you're in the connection with source and you can feel the flow, it changes everything about life.
Yeah.
It makes it easier, it's less lonely, it's empowering. It's just a much more joyful way to live.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, Sharra, I know that you do this, but just for fun, maybe we can both come up with an example of exactly what do you mean by what you just said? Like, what is the application of you from being in a personality stuckness to listening what your guidance is telling you to being on the other side? I know you and I have thousands of examples.
We do. But for me, one of the things that makes the difference, when I feel stuck, I feel overwhelmed. It's like there's so much coming at me that I lose the ability to move. I can't pick which thing to start on.
Yeah.
The solution for that is to stay in the moment, to really pull my mind back from the future, back from all these wonderful plans and visions. I'm a Pisces, so it's easy for me to vision in the big picture. It's my nature. It's much harder for me to stay in my body, to stay grounded on the planet. Well, correction, it used to be. Now that I have learned to do this, it's much, much easier. And especially with all the changes that are taking place on the planet, with the physical deconstruction for reconstruction, and the psychic, energetic deconstruction for reconstruction, to have that inside me gives me a sense of security I can't get any other way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yes, this is fun. This is what I want. This is my work in the world. It's what I've been trained for. I'm in flow. It's all fabulous. And none of it matters. What matters is that I'm here. I'm breathing. I'm talking with a beloved friend right now. There's no fear.
Yeah.
So this is an example for me
Mm-hmm.
of the kind of removing blocks by shifting consciousness that we're talking about.
Yeah, I love the words you're using, construction and deconstruction. You and I are on this, we're plugged into the same beam. For me, how I was shown lately is there's orientation, disorientation, reorientation. And what
we're in disorientation phase.
Yeah. What I was shown was, let's just say personal relationship. Because of childhood wounding, acculturation, social appropriateness, everything I learned, all the good and bad relationships I chose, if I want to label them with judgments, all of that gave me an orientation to the way I perceive relationships ought to work. Mm-hmm. Taught me to be afraid of intimacy, taught me to make sure I was always having my own back because I couldn't really trust my partner, all those kinds of thought forms. Now, I didn't understand that they were thought forms and beliefs. I was getting my identity, and a lot of people do this. I was getting my identity confused with my thinking. This is one of the first things I do with my clients. You're thinking, so let's objectify the thoughts and see what they are, and then see who you are without them. So that's the first thing, oriented toward relationship in a way that set me up for pain and failure. Spirit, so I'm in a fabulous relationship, and last year I was going through a lot of rocky times. Should I run away like I usually do, or how do I go deeper, and what if this doesn't work, and I don't want to get my heart broken, and all those issues. I went to Spirit, and I said, I don't know how to be here. I only know what I've done in the past, and apparently that's not working. This is worth it enough for me to learn, to grow, and to get change so I can be here in a happy, healthy way. And guidance came in and literally gave me this dissertation on orientation, reorientation, disorientation, reorientation. And what guidance said was, you're disoriented. because the orientation you have isn't working. You don't have your new framework yet, and you're in the middle of being disoriented on purpose, and it's a good thing. Getting disoriented is a good thing. It's part of the becoming. And I was shown what ideas and thoughts and beliefs and systems in me were breaking down, and how I was in the void being disoriented, and then I was being reoriented in how to step into intimacy in a happy, healthy way, how to show up differently. And it was like my guidance took me through a reconstruction, a reorientation of how to relate. I didn't read books. I didn't go to a coach. I didn't get outside help. It was all from within. And the next thing you knew, I was completely reoriented with a brand new reality in how to be in a healthy, happy, intimate relationship. And it all happened from inside. This is the kind of stuff that's accessible to everybody. I don't care what the topic is that anyone is dealing with. The wisdom and the guidance is totally accessible from within to address everything and anything, any time of day. And,
Yes.
and our jobs is to help people get the skill sets to be able to do that. It's not just for the talented. It's for everyone.
It's for everyone. And what you're describing is a process that can apply to any situation that we're in that's new. If and when a lovely man shows up for me, I'm going to have to go through the same process that you did, girlfriend, because everything that I've been taught or experienced or done in the past has not produced the results I want. And I want to point out to everyone listening that this sense of disorientation is an essential part of the process. That's often how we feel when we're being stripped of the old ego that's no longer serving.
Yeah.
One of the things that you're really good at, Danae, and I know we're not going to have a soul medicine song today, but we might have one of those in the past. And for all of our listeners, Danae often channels medicine songs, but today we're going to do a channeling for this group for the 31-day Good Vibe Challenge on Facebook, because we want you all to have a sense of deeper connection to Divine Source for yourself personally. We want this group to be a resource that you can go to learn new tools, where you can go to hear channeling that will inspire you in your own life.
Yeah.
So let's get quiet now. Just kind of settle in and breathe. And I'll let you take over.
Okay, so we're going to spend some time channeling. I have no idea how long. Whatever the group soul needs is what will be addressed. And there's really nothing to watch here, so feel free to close your eyes, drop back into your spine. And so I'm going outside of time right now, and my intention is that all those who end up watching this were already included in this intention right now. So I'm starting to tune into the frequency of guidance, could be star beings, that will serve this group, and we'll see what kind of guidance we receive. Periods of silence are just my getting attuned to the guidance. Let us begin with making the statement that you do not know who you are. This is the most important statement to taste on your tongue to begin with. If you do not know who you are, then there is curiosity about who you might be. So when you are identifying yourself through who you have known yourself to be, the identities you've had, the personalities you've worn, the way that you've related with people, circumstances, and life, you have a frame of reference that is of the past. And since you are most fully alive in every now moment, we wish to invite you into the present. So let us begin with the statement that you do not know who you are. Take a moment now and sit with this. What if you do not know who you are? See what arises. For some of you, there is a clutching onto identifications that are familiar. The ego stands up and says, I know who I am. I've been running this ship for a long time, and I know exactly who I am. What are you talking about? You're trying to disempower me. And that ripple went through some of you with that question. In truth, the structure of the ego, the form personality, is not who you are. It is a function that you use. This is very important to discern. The ego personality is a function that you use to play in third dimensional reality. Who you are is an open invitation to feel what arises. Certainly you already know you are a divine spark of God, you are spirit embodied, you are the moving, breathing light of life itself. However, filling in the blank does not allow for the space of curiosity. So now, let us take a moment to explore the vast openness in the curiosity of, if I don't know who I am, excuse me, who might I be? Or said simply, who am I? And let us take that to meditation for a moment. Who am I? And please listen with your whole being. Come out of your head, into your heart, into your soul, into the vast expanse. Who am I? And bring curiosity with you. In keeping your vibration high for 31 days, it is necessary to use the tool of curiosity, because it is an adventure, is it not? When you are curious as to, who am I now? And who am I now? And who am I now? It is always invitation to present moment, vital living awareness, where your attention is sharp, your heart is open, and your vitality is high. Contact with the present moment is how you feed your life force. It is how the flow of energy moves through your form, through your subtle bodies. So curiosity creates an open space to be explored, which is an adventure. It creates an invitation to be the living question. Who am I? Who am I now? As we move through the 31-day challenge of good vibrations, you want to have your vibration up, high, clean, and clear, and spacious. So when you disidentify with who you think you are based on who you have been, and you do not project into the future who you think you will be based on who you have been, and you stay alert and awake to the present moment, you are in contact with spirit. The present moment is where the aliveness of spirit is. You are that. That means you are in contact with yourself in a most vibrant, life-giving, creatively expressed way. Why is it important to be creatively expressed? You may notice that when you have a creative impulse and you sit on it, or you avoid it, or you oppress it, that the energy then implodes upon you. You can feel sad, lost, depressed, low energy, and lacking in interest in life. The creative life force is the same creative intelligence that has created all that is, all that you encounter, all that you see, all that you are. When you oppress this creativity, you are going against your own vital life force. That brings your vibration down. So part of the practice of good vibrations for the next 31 days is keeping your vibration up by leaning in with curiosity. Who am I now? And is there a creative pulse that wants to express something? Whatever that something is. Maybe it lasts a second. Maybe you end up writing a book like Sharra. Maybe it's an expression of song or dance or musical instrument or art. It matters not. What matters is your receptivity, curiosity, and openness to the creative pulse as it wishes to move through you. Because as the creative aliveness moves through your form, you are being calibrated to a higher frequency of that vitality and aliveness. And that is how your vibration goes up. So being excited genuinely, being interested authentically, and being energized somatically are three key ingredients to keeping your vibration up and being awake to the possibilities that your guidance or your spirit is showing you. Again, it's like shaking off an old wardrobe. If you let the identity of who you think you are slide off your shoulders and you show up with intense curiosity, who am I now? You will notice that spirit can work with you in the shifting. Another way to keep your vibration up, to enjoy this challenge and get the most out of it, is to ask for your alignment with star energy. So many people have guides, angels, and teachers. So many have guides from the star brethren, as is noted in Sharra's books. That availability of energy and support and help is really available to everyone at all times. A good way to know when you are accessing star energy is to sit in meditation and get quiet. For those of you who need grounding, to send a root down from the base of your spine down into Mother Earth, into Pachamama, to ground yourself. For those who feel like they're well grounded and need more help getting up and out, and for those who start with grounding, go back up to your crown and open this. You can scratch the top of your head to stimulate the blood vessels, get the nerve endings to wake up, feel a flow up here. Start with this kind of stimulation, and then open the gateway at your crown with the intention that you are going up into the highest frequency available of the highest order for the highest good for you and the universe and everyone everywhere, for you to plug in up and to bring that star energy down into your pineal gland, illuminating both halves of the brain, coming down the brain stem and anchoring down into the heart. Why the heart? Because you want discernment and you want trust. And when you can feel the quality of the frequency in your heart, you will register it as love and recognize the signature of love and helpful energy. If you do not recognize that signature, if it feels heavy or dense or dark, then you simply let go of the connection and take a breath, reground, and start again. The reason for inviting you to connect with star energy is because the frequency of light and sound that comes through the star energies is like an attuning for the human structure. You have your nervous system, your autonomic nervous system, which needs attunement. Said differently, the more you focus on your personality's identity and all the troubles and woes and stories in your mind, the denser you make your vibration and the heavier your being feels to you. And that often creates a stress response or anxiety, which is kicking in the sympathetic nervous system, which ultimately creates stress, cortisol, and acid in your muscles. Not a good way to go if you're searching to be someone who has optimal health. When you're bringing in the frequency of the star energy of those who you're aligned with to help you, it is like recalibrating your coordinates to a frequency of where you're actually heading as a species. We have been saying to Danae for years that people are attuning to become cosmic human beings. The cosmic human being is what's coming online now and what you're working with. So to keep your vibration high, if it feels good in you, ask for your star connection so you can be pulled up, your spine can straighten, your nervous system illuminated, and you can bring in that frequency of light to assist your denser form to move with the ascension or the illumination. So here are several tools for you to apply throughout this month and see how they work for you. We do want to suggest that you keep a notepad or a journal or a recording device nearby so that as you are working with these tools, you can see for yourself the clarity that they are bringing you. You can see for yourself the empowerment that is awakening within you. You can see for yourself the spiritual speed with which you gain momentum to gain access. For the 1 month challenge is not light. It's not taken lightly as, oh, just something to do. It is invitation. It is a welcoming to the best version of you in every now moment that you can open up to receive. And this is important. The feminine power energy is very, very, very high. So you are not stepping outside of yourself to reach toward something, to achieve something. No, it is the opposite. You are relaxing back, resting open, and receiving the new imprints, receiving the downloads, receiving relaxation and spaciousness and optimal health. You are in a position of the feminine, which is receptive. Whether you're in a male or female body doesn't matter, because every body has the masculine and feminine within. And the balance of the masculine and feminine with where the energies are going are extraordinarily important. And you will see this in the Shaman Chronicles as you read through the series, the importance of the balance of the masculine and feminine. So your invitation is to use these power tools to assist yourself to wake up and to lift your vibration, and thereby you are contributing not only to your own life and those around you, you are contributing the frequency of success to all of humanity and to Gaia and to the community at large interdimensionally. And why would you wish to do this? Well, you incarnated to do this. This is your birthright and your choice to participate. And life is much more fun when you lift yourself out of the doldrums and make use of the power tool that you've been handed, which is your body. This is a system meant to be directed from within and meant to be directed on every level, emotionally, mentally, physically, health-wise, physiologically, psychologically. It is a tool. You are not your body. You are the driver of the body, and spirit is the driver of who you are. So as much as you can, turn everything over for the highest order and the highest development, and ask your guidance and your spirit to step in and steer the body for you. Danae regularly asks spirit to steer her thoughts, her feelings, her emotions, her biorhythms, and her physiology. And in this way, she is attuned every time she asks and receives. She is attuned to the highest possible frequency for optimal well-being on all those levels. The same is true for you. So we do not wish to overwhelm with too much information too quickly. There's plenty here to work with. We are looking after you. We are cheering you on. We applaud the lifting up of consciousness, people stepping forward to birth the new world. And that happens through new frequencies. And that happens through your soma, through your body to begin with. You are the anchor of light for the world in its transformation. You are the anchor of light for the world in her becoming. And you are the midwife for that. We send you blessings. We have your back. Call on us whenever you need. So be it, and so it is.
Oh. Everyone, just be still for a moment to receive. And let this energy settle in your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul. Notice that your crown has probably activated, which means you're going to feel sensations all around the top of your head, perhaps in your third eye. I'm feeling a very strong sensation on the left side of my head. Take a deep breath and release it gently as you open your eyes. Thank you, Danae.
You're welcome.
Who are we speaking with?
I love that question. So when I first had that awakening in 1987, I started channeling the Ascended Masters first, Saint Germain and Sananda. And then it was like it just became an open portal, and all these different teachers and beings would come through. One of them was the Starlight Brotherhood. So if you think of the UN, we have representatives from all over on the physical plane at the UN representing all cultures, belief systems, things like that. The Starlight Brotherhood introduced themselves to me as the Cosmic UN. So they are the Ascension team, the Ascended Masters, the Ek Masters, the Star Brethren, like you name in your books, the Star Brethren. It's a collective of those standing for the highest good and the most quickened evolution for Gaia and all of the creatures upon her. So for a period of time, I was channeling the Starlight Brotherhood. That was a long, long time ago. That was over 25 years ago. Lately, with the inspiration from your books, which I just love, I have been asking the Starlight Brotherhood if they are circling back to start speaking through me again, or whatever their frequency or vibration or name would be now. And they pointed out to me that along all the years of my channeling consciously, I was shown, and this is a good tool for everybody, we're like a diamond. The diamond represents the wholeness that we are, the all that is, the God spark, if you will. The diamond has many, many, many facets. When you place your attention on one particular area, maybe it's the Ascended Masters, that's what you have contact with. You're still the whole diamond. Wholeness is still what it is. The divine is still the entire divine, but your attention is on that facet of the diamond, and so you're tuning into the Ascended Masters. So over the years, as my channeling has evolved, I've been shown from Spirit, it's not that you're channeling any entity in particular anymore. It's that you are speaking the voice of the divine as a whole collective. If people need a name, think of it as the collective energy. And that feels right to me. And yet, when that kind of energy comes in, it dynamically shifts my attention and the sensations in my body, and is very, very fortifying. That was a lot of vital energy. That, for me, if I were to focus on the facet of a diamond, does feel more like a great big body of a collective of light beings who are strong for us. And I felt a mixture of the cosmic star brethren in that, as well as the Ascended Masters, as well as the wisdom of Mother Earth herself. So that to me felt like a blend of energies.
That's my experience as well, that now we are more often tapping into a collective.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cosmic collective. It's a very ancient, wise, very high vibration consciousness. But it is not just one individual. It is the collection of wisdom of many lifetimes, of many beings, in many dimensions and on many planets.
Yes. Yeah.
And I would like to point out to our listeners again that this is something anybody can do if that is what you're drawn to.
Yes.
Danae is very good at it because she's been doing it for so long, and she has learned to be an open channel. It's a good way for you also to tap into your inherent wisdom, your soul's knowledge, and to strengthen that connection that you feel with divine source, with beings in other dimensions, with the sacred itself. So we'll talk more about that later. The other thing I'd like to bring to mind, how do we deal with the down times? Because we can't ignore them. It's a human condition, and it's also a wave action of our emotions and our own vibration. It goes up and down, and the higher you go, then it tends to plop you back so that you can take that layer and lift it up a little higher. So you have the waves that are cresting, and that's when you feel, wow, I'm tuned in, I can do anything. And then something happens and your humanity takes over and you go, oh, I want to die. This feels horrible. I don't know what I'm doing. Nobody loves me. I'm useless in the world. So then what do you do?
I love this because so I have an adult son. He's a young adult, and he and his lady have lived like 7 miles from me for about a year. And I love having him close by, right? And I know we're doing this interview today. I wake up and I get a text from him with the biggest moving truck I've ever seen in my life, and I know they're moving away today. And it's not like they're moving to another country. However, I'm a mom, and my child is moving away from where I live. And I looked at that, and my humanity and my mama self took over. I was like, I don't like this. I want to get in my car and drive over there to this young adult man with his team of moving people and cuddle him. It's like so inappropriate. And I felt my sorrow come up. I was like, okay, this is real for my mama self. I am going to miss not having him be closer. He is moving, loading the truck as I sit here preparing to do this interview with Sharra. And I asked Spirit, what do I do? How do I find my balance with this? And what Spirit said was, feel the longing to keep him close and honor it. Mm-hmm. Feel it and honor it. You're a mama. That's okay. Also recognize you are trying to hold on to him to keep you from going forward. Because if you have an excuse to not go forward, you don't have to step into bigger, brighter energy. You could be in the convenience of your small ego. So feel the sorrow and recognize you're making an excuse by distracting yourself with sad feelings and indulging in them to keep your energy down so that you don't rise to the occasion for the interview.
Exactly.
Recognize that. Don't judge yourself for it. Notice it. And now grab that energy that you're using for sorrow. Do a few minutes of breath work, recharge, and harness that energy, put it in your heart, and move forward with your life as you're supposed to.
Exactly.
So that's, for me, pretty much that's how I live my life. I'm not saying it's wrong or bad to feel hard feelings or uncomfortable feelings. They're a part of our human process. It's our relationship to them and what we do, the life force within them, that makes the difference. And managing our emotional weather, I love to say that, managing our emotional weather is our job. It's our job. So for me, I go to Spirit because, I could be a real big drama queen sometimes. It doesn't get me anywhere. Well, it's me.
Right. And this is so important. We all have these feelings in our fields, and sometimes it's many generations of feelings that come up in a charge that we have. So it's critically important that we honor them. It's not about suppressing them or ignoring them or trying to talk ourselves out of them. They're legitimate. They're there for a reason. So when we have these times, we need to be with it, but not get stuck in it.
Yeah.
So that's why when you're honoring these things, then you keep moving. Like, I think it was Winston Churchill that said, you're going through hell, don't stop. Right? So when you feel crappy, everybody, acknowledge that that's what's happening, and then see what the next thing you can do to move in the direction that you want to go.
Yeah, and that's brilliant, and that's brilliant. A lot of us, I just want to point towards something that you just said, because the subtleties make all the difference, as you and I have learned. A lot of people go to their heads and their intellect to figure out what the next thing is they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. And what I'm saying is, drop the intellect, just put it on the table for a moment, go to Spirit and say, show me, what is my next step now? What needs to happen now? And let Spirit show you. Get the inspiration, the guidance, and then you could pick up your left brain and your intellect and make a whole system of consideration out of that. But dropping the intellect, going to Spirit first, is the fast and direct path to getting where you want to go. There's no other way to say it. Spirit's where it's at.
It totally is. The mind is a wonderful servant.
Yes.
But the greater wisdom, the combination of the heart and the mind together. And you can stimulate your heart wisdom by just putting your hand on your heart and intending that your heart inform your mind. And then that gives Spirit a platform to make it easy. Spirit wants to help. Spirit wants us healthy and happy and fully self-expressed. And Spirit is also totally compassionate about our humanity.
Yes.
And the things that we have to go through in order to release the old charge and to heal and to move into a new state of being.
Beautifully said.
Thank you. Danae, I think we could go for a long time, but this might be the right place to wrap up for this particular session.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being who you are, for sharing yourself with us today, and for being my friend.
Aw, I just love you. Thanks for inviting me, and I'm so grateful that in our ripe, young old ages, we are newly generating and creating and following our hearts and our dreams, and doing it together is pretty fabulous.
I feel that way too.
So I'm all in on your challenge. I am excited to see what the next month brings. Thanks for coming up with it.
Oh, it was inspiration. I'm just following orders.
Yeah, I get it.
And I am thrilled because we have so many powerful people lined up to do these kinds of conversations. Listeners, we're not preaching at you. We don't want to make you do anything. We want to support you. We're here to hold you while you do the work to emerge as the powerful being you are. And here you have this beautiful Danae Shanti. We will put a document attached to this video that has all the ways that you can contact Danae. She's got Danae Shanti Thrive on YouTube. She's got a website. She's got all kinds of beautiful places and is doing many different kinds of work for Spirit. And feel free to connect with her in whatever way you want to. Make this challenge your transformation. Make it the life that you want to live, a step at a time. Poco a poco.
And fun. Make it fun.
And fun. It has to be fun. Remember how much fun we had dancing at the Mayan Millennium Masquerade Ball?
Oh, we did. Old souls reconnecting.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sharra. I'll see you in the Facebook group.
I'll see you soon, Danae. Goodbye.
Bye.